This is like the committed group. We had all the extra, the superficial ones earlier in the week.
Every day's
yeah. I mean,
so that's why we're here.
They took the day off. We're still here.
I wanted to ask specifically about the defense. How much fun does it look like they're having out there this year?
There was a time in the Utah State game. I can't gauge it 1 to 10, but there was a time they just made a stop. It was maybe like at the 7-minute mark or the 5-minute mark. Still crucial. They knew they'd have to go back again. And they had water bottles over on the sideline. They were sitting down, and Kyle Van Noy and Brandon Ogletree were spraying guys down like it was champagne bottles after they won the pennant or something. And our coaches are then trying to calm them down, saying, "Hey, you're gonna have to go back out." And they said, "That's why we're celebrating." So they were celebrating not the stop. They were celebrating that they get to go out and play again. And it's 6-3, and I wasn't. I mean, I was the wreck, and they're over there. So that's just a story that would probably, they seem oblivious to anything other than they get to play again.
Is this the unit, in your opinion, I mean, as of the defenses you've coached, is this the one that's having the most fun along with the success they're having?
Oh, I think so, because they're smiling during the series, and it's 3rd and 2 or something, and they're looking over and sometimes I want them to be more worried, like I am, and they don't seem worried. So, maybe that'll reach the point where then the carpet gets yanked out from under them and they have to then rebuild, pride cycle-ish maybe, but I don't know whether it's that or they're just having fun. So, yeah, I would say stay tuned at this point.
Do you think it's the success that's breeding the fun that breeds the success?
I don't know. I think they're both tied, but I know they like each other, and they work really hard, and I ask them to do a lot, and that kind of gives them no other option, but I think they really like each other. So, those kind of things, man, you'll have to ask them, but I'm not sure how that's prioritized.
With Oregon State's ranking and, national television, all that, are you guys looking at this game maybe as a chance to give you kind of a mid-season bump or push? Or
man, I think all of those are just kind of acknowledged that they're there, but then, okay, now what do they do on offense, defense? How do we get better? It's kind of that thing, and five wins is better than 4, and we can still play better. So it just so happens that it's a good opponent that is undefeated coming in with our next opportunity while we're gaining some momentum. So I haven't really addressed all the other parts. It's more just, now what do we do to get better? And I think that they already know all that stuff. I just don't talk about it.
Are there any updates on injuries that may affect, or new injuries that may affect Saturday's game?
Man, that's not my strong suit, as you already know. Not that I can remember right offhand. I don't think there's anything different than what there's been all week, so it ought to be the same guys.
There has been talk that Marcus Matthews may take a medical red shirt. Is that been decided?
It has. He's got a, I don't know what the condition is, but he's got a condition requiring surgery, like ear, nose, throat kind of stuff. It's about a 6-week thing, and he's been sick over and over and over again. We get him back to practice and he's sick. We get him back to practice and he's sick. We get him back to practice, and finally they've identified what it is, and that's going to continue all year, which doesn't give him a chance to really compete. And so he'd only played in 3 games. Once we heard that and then learned it was a 6-week recovery, it was kind of waste really the rest of the year, or put a stop to it and get it fixed. So we chose to do that.
When you lose a guy like Walter to a medical redshirt before the year starts, for good, can you replace that scholarship, or how does that work?
We can replace that scholarship. He will still count on the 123, which is our maximum roster size, but within the 85, we have an extra scholarship to give. And so we've taken, between Walter and Ryan Freeman and losing Fono early, and now our issues with Famika, all of a sudden, and then Houston Reynolds getting hurt. I mean, that's 5 guys that were too deep that are all attrition the same season halfway through. So now, in terms of recruiting and the missionary plan, etc., we now have kind of a shift of focus and have to address that.
To your knowledge, has Taysom's surgery been scheduled yet?
Yeah, I believe it's for next Friday. Don't quote me, but I think that's what he said.
Is there an emotional leader in this defense? Who would you
Tree.
sing? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
With your defense, you haven't given a touchdown in so many games. Is there any concern, because the streak can't last forever, if they give one up, how do you think they would respond?
I think they'll be mad. I think they'll be furious. It was was my gut feeling just in watching if the play works against them in practice, how they look at me and I look at them, and they don't like touchdowns aren't good. It's kind of what they say to each other.
Is that good or bad to have them get mad?
Well, I think it's really good because touchdowns actually aren't good. So I don't know what else to say. It's not too profound, but that's...
Since the fake field goal didn't work,
Yeah,
would
that was a nice call, wasn't it?
would that cause you not to call one again, or is
Not for a while.
What's your relationship with Mike Riley?
It's really good. I consider him a friend. He and his wife, Dee, Holly, and I really like. And of the head coaching circle, they're great people. And Oregon State has the perfect guy, I think. He fits that community so well, and he's a really good coach.
Now
Thanks.
Justin's been able to take more reps. Do you think the
He's
kicking
banging it
woes
through.
are fixed?
Well, we'll find out. We haven't had pads on most of the week, so we'll find out if the protection is fixed. But he's kicking it through. So let's cross our fingers.